Hey, good morning. Welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I hope you're doing well today. Last night, um, StreamYard died literally during our meetup.com episode. So it's one of the benefits if you actually log into the Zoom that I definitely got a connection to you because the Zoom people were able to participate in the meetup last night a little more than what I usually do with the broadcast out on all the social media engines. I will post up the recording from the Zoom tonight. I'll put that up around 8 o'clock tonight. Or no, I'll put it up around 6 o'clock. I'll set it up so it comes out for the show. So in case you missed it yesterday and weren't able to join the Zoom or watch it via social media, that you can at least watch it, give us comments and feedback. It was a nice little group of people, so it was pretty cool. I do apologize because the StreamYard, I'm telling you, it just witnessed death on a screen for a virtual service that just like what it ran out of juice or something. But Zoom worked perfectly fine. So I still say it was a StreamYard. They're probably like, oh, your bandwidth. I'm like, everything else is working, but you maybe it was bandwidth. Anyway, so I will post that up. It was about being neutral. That's kind of shown a little different between being a neutral and insertive as a coach. So did that last night. I'll post that up. And today, it kind of goes in that way. We were talking about being neutral yesterday. Like in a daily scrum, don't disappear. This is a continuation. This is part 2. I'm going to close it off with this one about Scrum Masters. They say, oh, you don't need Scrum Master. And I think that's the stupidest something I was about to say thing I've ever heard. And I think agile coaches and organizations that promote, well, as soon as you've done training the team in Scrum, you can go, right? We don't have to pay you, right? We don't need you, right? I think that's a terrible, terrible way of thinking about it. And tells you that most people don't about Scrum and Scrum Masters provide. Their depth is so shallow that it's not. But anyway, so this is where we talk about what do you do? Well, I'm saying instead of disappearing, you should be transforming yourself as Scrum Masters for your team. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today, about the transformation versus the disappearing part. And I think it's important because all these companies lately, even Jira and Microsoft, and they're getting rid of their project managers because they're not adding value. And why is that? Because they're disappearing. They get so thin because they're managing a bunch of teams that they actually don't contribute anymore to the teams. They're glorified status people, right? So let's talk about that then. And I always believed that wasn't the job of a project manager, to be a status person. I actually had 2 levels of project management in my mind: the status people and real project managers. There's a big difference. And you can tell that when you talk to them and what they talk about and what they report out, because there's more nuances to be in that than just let me build a status report on how the team's doing, because I pester them every minute of the day and what they're doing. So I went off on a tangent there, but we're going to come back and talk about transforming yourself as a Scrum Master. So this is 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And we talk about Scrum and Agile in a very practical and tactical way so that we can deliver value in a very efficient way so we don't spend all this time. Oh, and here's Bubbles. She's doing a photo bomb. It's funny. The kids asked me today. They're like, is Bubbles in every episode of the show? I'm like, pretty close. She was stalking me this morning. I mean, seriously, I don't think I've seen her this much stalking before. Like, she's following me around the house. Like, are you going to do the show? You going to do the show? I want to do the show. All right, Bubs? You want to be in the show again? Yeah, there she is. She's right there. She just took my headset up. All right. So let's talk about this. We're off. Done with the Bubbles. Sorry, Bubbles. I was like, no, please pat me. All right. So we're done with the Bubbles character here. Though she's cute. I'm going to put the banner up I'm going to do European Union from the job report from Tuesday. So that's going up. Tuesday nights we do the job report. So what am I talking about? So many Scrum Masters that I know that I've They think their value is in and being Scrum Master for multiple teams. Or they pick up like, hey, I don't need to be in the daily Scrum anymore because I'm not contributing value. Their thought process and contributing values is saying, Greg, what did you do yesterday? Jane, what did you do yesterday? Sally, what did you do yesterday? They think that is the value they contribute, when in reality, anybody can do that. That's not real value. Calling people's name in a meeting is not value. That is not facilitation, by the way. The whole goal in last night's presentation was to talk about getting the people in the room to work on their content. You're just managing the process and contributing there, but there's ways of doing it. So what I'm getting at is there's a point where you're no longer teaching Scrum, right? I don't know what to do anymore. I taught them Scrum. They got that pretty much down. Scrum is a very basic thing, but it's the nuances and people and team dynamics that then take it to the next level. And what most people don't think, most career corporate people think, oh, I can just rest on my laurels and I learned I got a Scrum cert. I'm just going to teach Scrum. No, there's more to it than that. There's more to it than getting a high performance team, right? And that's where the value, besides just giving them basics of it, where it really comes out as a Scrum Master. And that's where you really produce value for your teams. And I think a lot of people misunderstand that. So instead of disappearing like, well, they don't really need me in the daily Scrum. I don't need to call people out. I don't need to do that kind of thing. So I don't, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I've actually had Scrum Masters actually say that to me. Why am I here? Because they don't need me to call their names out in the roll call. I'm like, yeah, this is not elementary school, right? I mean, that's like elementary school stuff. I'm saying, but my thing is there's more levels of detail, more now you're transformational. So now as they're doing their stuff, your job is to look above everything, keep an eagle's eye view of what's going on, find things what they're not looking at because they're supposed to be nose down into the code. And and this is where people don't get it. Your job as Scrum Master is to be above that a little bit and keep an eye on things, make sure things are going and they're working and that the team is not missing anything. What does that entail? A lot of times that entails one-on-one conversations with everyone on the team every day, right? Or looking at what's going on, looking at the data, looking at what's getting finished, what's moving across the board, what's not moving across the board, checking in with people. Every Scrum Master should have one-on-ones with every member of their team, or you're not doing the proper Scrum Master job. Now, one-on-one on the team isn't, how you doing today? Did you get your stuff done? No, that's not one-on-one. One-on-one is a good half-hour discussion and get their feedback on what's going on and seeing if you can help them in any way. Is there something that you need to bring to the team's attention, right? That maybe they're too shy or they don't know how to do it yet without doing things. And maybe if you get enough data points, then you can decide whether or not it's something the entire team needs to take on. So this is where you start transforming. So now you're transforming from a teacher of Scrum to more of a coach and mentor, facilitator of Scrum. And that's why I did that episode, that session as a meetup.com, becoming more of the facilitator of the activity, because you need to grow that capability. And I think we drift away from that a lot when we watch all these videos and these trainings and stuff like that. What more? I mean, yeah, you get your cert, you understand Scrum, you got everything good, which is important, by the way. I don't want people to, I know it's Scrum and never take a certification class. I'm like, you need to take the class. You need to learn how Scrum is. You need to hear it from someone, not just taking a test. And I read it in a book. I think it's important that you hear it from people that actually were Scrum Masters that haven't really coached. But though, like I said, having more Scrum teams is not the journey. So, hi, Bubbles. Got tail swatting me in the face. But I think it's time to transform. So don't disappear from the daily Scrum. Don't, like, the team got everything. They don't need me anymore. What you do is you transform into finding ways for constant improvement of the team. I look at SpaceX. I look at Tesla. Their goal was constant improvement. It's funny, someone was commenting how the original Toyota, or it's not Toyota, it's Toyota or something, where they did the lean movement, they did the Kaizen, they did that process. And now they look at Elon Musk's teams, and they are really into constant improvement. How can we make this better? They don't rest on their laurels saying, hey, this is the best drivetrain. Oh, this is the best battery design. They go, how can we make this battery design better? How can we make this drivetrain better? SpaceX, how can we make this rocket run better? I mean, those are the kind of things that they do, constantly do it. And in order to be that way in the top of the rankings for a team, you need to help your teams figure that out. You need to help them figure out, constantly challenging them to the point you are a coach. You're coaching like a sports team. How do we get better? How can we get better? Now, do you necessarily need to do that in a group session? No, you can do it one-on-ones. Say, how do you think we could do this better? Any thoughts on that? Maybe they're afraid to mention it in the group session. Maybe they got some good ideas, and then you got to figure out how to facilitate a discussion without forming people in a certain direction. But maybe there's a pattern out there and comments from the team members on your individual one-on-ones that you can help transform the team to the next level, right? There may be some challenges that no one's mentioning. Like, all they're doing is business code and they're not doing any technical debt code. Maybe they really need to redo it. Like I said the other day, I really think Twitter needs to reformat. Remember that word, reformat their AI and start over. I think their AI is so corrupted for finding stuff that it's going a little nuts, went way over the top, right? Kind of like the Silicon Valley Bank. They kind of went way over the top in a direction that had nothing to do. They got so far, their AI went so far to one side in one direction, they forgot the core of banking. It's a classic, right? I think the Twitter AI is doing the same thing, by the way. But so we might think go and have more teams is the right way, but that's not the core. The core is to get performance. So I just want to encourage you all, start transforming. This is a really good book that Marsha Acker, and I brought that up during the session last night, and I will put a copy of what I put together. It's a small pitch. It's not crazy. But that's the kind of things you need to think about. How do you transform? It's not a question of leaving the team. It's how do I transform myself? How do I change? We're change agents. And sometimes we have to reflect back on ourselves and say, how do we change ourselves? Right? And that's something we need to do. So with that, I'm going to say, I wish you all the best. I'm going to play the little video on the Slack channel. I got someone the other day asked me, do you really charge $10 a month to join a Slack channel? I'm like, yeah, I got to respond to them. But I was so busy yesterday, I didn't want to half reply and explain why. One of the reasons why I charge the $10 a month is like going to the gym. I could be a member of the gym. Would I go to the gym? No. Would I work out at the gym? Probably not. Now I'm paying the $10 a month to join my gym. Do I go there more often? Am I more leaning to it? Yes. Is it enough money to do I faint if I don't go? No. But the reason why I go to that gym is to share and flex the muscles. And one of the things I'm doing with my Slack channel is, like I said when I want to talk to people, if people aren't contributing to the Slack channel, sooner or later I'm going to bop them off the Slack channel, because we don't need you, right? We don't need you to sit there, be a what do you call it? A wallflower and not participate. So I'm not going to show the Slack thing, but I do have the Slack channel. You can connect with me at 5 a.m. Mester Scrum, or connect with me on any of the social media engines. But again, yeah, we charge $10 a month to be a member of that. And I'll be honest with you, there's a couple people that are on the Slack channel. I know life's been busy, but probably going to bump them off the Slack channel. Because I want people that want to participate and get interactive, and they want to be agile coaches. They want to be the top of their class and professionals. I'm like, well, show me that you can be, because if you're not putting out there, You ain't at the top of the class, and get some feedback. I mean, you're worried about looking bad on something like social media, LinkedIn, but it's a small group of people. Share some information. Sometimes I don't feel like sharing with information, and I'm kind of really disappointed when other people don't share. I'm like, what? I'm supposed to do all the sharing on the planet Earth? Like, no, that's not how it's going to work. I want you to work out those muscles. I want you to go to the gym, and I want you to practice sharing and learning, absorbing, and doing that, because you need to do that in your career. It's called transformation. All right. Take care, everyone. I want to wish you all happy scrumming. It's been 15 minutes past our daily scrum. But you know what? Sometimes you just rant. Take care. Have a great day. And see you tomorrow. Or I'll put up that posting for the meetup yesterday later tonight. Bye.